Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Heels Up. I am Vlad St. Valentine, and next to me is the only man that matters, Mr. Reggie Lincoln.
How's it going, sir?
How are you?
Oh, man. Well.
Oh, got your drinking horn on, channeling your Viking Raiders. We got
something like that.
Got to show them a little love since they've eaten pins 3 weeks in a row, and now they're, I guess, the official bitch tag team of the WWE.
Oh, man, I hate that so much, man.
It is what it is.
But we'll get into that in a little bit.
All right, so Raw 7/13/2020 starts off with the MVP Lounge. Ziggles is the guest. Says that Drew is, ungrateful. Does his usual shtick. Doesn't get interesting until Drew himself comes out.
Of course. Because you got to have some controversy on these segments.
Drew starts to talk, and Dolph goes to cut him off with this whole we've heard it before, and I was almost grateful for Dolph because we have all heard this before, but Drew stops him. Tells him to shut up and listen, and he gets terrifying. Yeah. Great promo delivery. It's like, no, Dolph, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you bad. Like, you're going to beg me to stop. And it was intense, man. Like
it made me piss myself.
I go back to what I said a couple of weeks ago. I would like to see Drew McIntyre as an action hero in a movie.
I would love that too.
Like one where his wife like a Punisher movie where his wife gets killed at the beginning and he's just an unstoppable hurricane of revenge the whole way through.
Like, why hasn't Drew McIntyre been in movies?
He needs to. Well, he's doing his WWE thing right now, and once he gets famous off this, then hopefully he can parlay that into a Rock-esque career.
Yes,
I want to see the man in a movie.
I can see him as the next Dwayne.
I believe the heartbreak he showed with Heath Slater last week. I believe the intensity and the scariness of him this week. He is believable. I buy him. I can buy him as an actor.
This is why he's champion.
Damn good one, too.
This is why he's champion.
Damn good one, too. So
that's an official BMF, too.
Fair enough.
Official BMF.
All right. So we close the segment out, after he says he's going to hurt Ziggler. He says he wants a little bit of action tonight, but he can be a patient man. And then he takes it was kind of a cheap shot. He kind of
shot in.
Yeah, he got one over MVP's shoulder, but it was great. It was like that no look when he gave him the other day, last week in the intergender tag team match.
Yep. Right in the kisser.
Just a pow right in the kisser. Pow right in the kisser. It was beautiful, man. Oh, I love those shots he gives on it. He gives him. Then he gives a little punks out MVP a little bit.
Like two for flinching.
MVP is great, man. I'm glad he's getting more mic time because especially with no more Paul Heyman.
Of course,
the man's just absolute money. All right, so after that we go backstage and it's Angel, Andrade, and Selena, and they're still playing up the whole. Are they on the same page? Are they not? It's what you've seen before.
Yeah.
Raiders walk up afterwards, and Eric delivers this whole, we're going to beat you for disrespecting our friends. And they're not because they've been eating pins for the last 2 weeks. They're going to keep eating pins. But what saved that scene was Ivar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, he's a ladies' man. What can we say?
He walks up with Eric, obviously. While Eric's delivering his promo, we get a tight shot on Eric. When they zoom out, Charlie's just staring at Ivar, like just giving him the eyes,
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, what did you say? I was a little distracted. I was like, oh, that was cute. And like Ivar, without saying a word, just takes the rose from Angel Garza's hand and gives it to Charlie. It was like, and she's all.
Yeah, because, they trying to, Angel Garza, typical, Latin lover boy,
Oh, he was not pleased. He would look very
dumb. He wasn't.
He looked dumbfounded almost. Like, how could this possibly be happening? Like, this is a situation he's never
have you seen what's going on with Otis? Like, of course, women are into these guys these days.
Big boys are in. I'll take it.
Big beard men.
Hey, ladies, fat guys are the best because they're warmth in the winter, shade in the summer, and we always know where to find food. Mm-hmm. So after the commercial break, we come back, and it's the Viking Raiders versus Angel and Andrade. And
tag team elimination match,
Which was cool. I love the tag team elimination match. I wish they had more of these. It's a lot of fun.
I guess that's what makes it so cool because we don't see them often.
Fair enough. Angel Andrade starts pretty strong. And my problem with this, again, goes back to the whole there's a weight class for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just can't buy Angel. Angel's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take anything away from him.
He was born in his business.
Yeah, third generation. But like Ivar would clean his teeth with Angel's bones when he was done with them. Like I can't buy Angel's offense on Ivar sometimes.
But Andrade did interfere a little bit.
Yeah, There was a little bit of, they tried to do a little bit of dissension, but Andrade actually saved Angel from, danger a couple of times during the match. Put his foot on the rope when it looked like Ivar had it won. But Ivar goes for the sit-down senton from the corner again. Angel reverses that into a powerbomb and gets the win. It was okay, but I know we got to keep Angel and Andrade strong for the tag team
titles, yeah.
But we have to kind of keep the dissension thing kind of there in the background because that's what we're playing towards. I understand everything we're working towards. It's just unfortunate that it has to be the Viking Raiders every week that have to look like the bitches.
I mean, bring another tag team up to get squashed or whatever and move the Viking Raiders to SmackDown.
It's like they only have time to work with 3 tag teams at a time, and one of them has to be the bitch while the other 2 work for the title. Like, that seems to be the formula.
Oh, man.
Like, where are the Usos? They're in trouble still, or what? Naomi back? Where's the Usos? We saw one of them over here doing the karaoke shit. Like,
yeah, I don't know what's going on with the other. Actually, I should be updated on that news.
This is why we're doing producer lists today, and this is why we can't. Just like Caden, like,
we miss you, buddy.
Yeah, get your ass back here.
We miss you.
The first elimination was Eric. Because Eric is just there to eat pins because that seems to be his deal now.
Well, we did get to see the agility of Ivar.
Yeah, but Eric gets Andrade gets the hammerlock DDT on, or the hammerlock DDT on Eric for the first pin. Ivar ends up. Andrade kind of saves Angel from a spin kick from Ivar, and he kips himself, and he ends up eating the pin that time. So it was gun to 1-on-1. And then that's when we had a little bit of interference from Andrade from the side. Like, I don't know why he got to stick around, but Eric didn't.
I mean, they had to have a reason for the Viking Raiders to lose.
Because storyline.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. That's just bad writing then. If it doesn't make sense, but you have to have it happen just so you can get your story across, that is shitty writing. And what have we always said on this channel? We're against? Shitty fucking writing. So after the match, cut to Ruby and the Iconics. And they're doing their shtick again. And I thought, all right, we'll have to sit through this one more time. It might be getting a little bit old, but we're building to, of course, what we all thought we're building to, which was, the reemergence of the Riot Squad into the women's tag team division.
At least that's what we thought.
And, we're like, oh, we'll build to that towards, we get this schlock one more week, and then we get to Extreme Rules, and maybe that's the pre-show when, Liv shows up and gets with Ruby, and they beat up the Iconics.
Yeah.
They play through the storyline properly, and they get their revenge, and it's good. But instead, they have Bianca Belair come out, and as soon as I saw Bianca Belair come out to be Ruby's tag team partner, I knew that they had written themselves into a bad place.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Bianca Belair.
Love her. I'm
a huge fan. But
strength that woman, the pound for, she's like Cesaro. She might be the most she might be the strongest woman pound for pound.
She's the best athlete in the WWE.
But when you saw her and we said, all right, we know Bianca Belair's not losing tonight because she's too fresh on the main roster.
Yeah.
But if you beat the Iconics tonight, you've basically wrecked the storyline of the tension and the want of revenge by the Riot Squad. So I immediately saw there's no good place for this to go.
That was the first question I asked. I'm like, I'm ready for Liv Morgan to show up. No.
So, of course, Bianca Belair gets the pin.
She looks great.
Looked great. Match was good.
Tip-top match. It really was.
I absolutely love the Iconics. And I wasn't upset by the match. The match was great. All the wrestlers did a great job. The only problem is now that you've beat the Iconics and Ruby's had her revenge, I don't really have as much of an interest or a stake as a fan or viewer in seeing the Riot Squad reunited because there's no adversary for them to join forces against now because the Iconics have already been vanquished, and that's what we've been building up for the last few weeks. Like, I feel like you shot your load early there, guys.
Yeah, you kind of did. Yeah, like, because, I mean, I was looking forward to the Riot Squad just like I was looking forward to the Bar reuniting, but, I mean, we'll talk about SmackDown another time.
It was cut to backstage, and Truth is talking to Cedric the Entertainer.
And Richard.
And Ricochet. And he congratulates Ricochet on being the MVP of Raw.
No.
MVP has to clarify that Ricochet has to clarify that MVP challenged him to a match against Bobby Lashley. He's not the MVP but Truth is just great. The way he delivers these ridiculous lines.
That's who the real MVP is of Raw.
Mm-hmm. And then Cedric asked Truth how he's feeling about his match against Orton later on the night. He's like, no.
We got a match. Ric Flair challenged him.
He's like, no, Ric Flair challenged you on behalf of Randy Orton. And of course, they play up how dangerous Orton is, which I think it's cool the way they're.
I love it.
Yeah, the way they're making the rest.
Back to the legend killer.
They're making the backstage. All the other guys backstage seem to fear him a little bit and play up that stuff. So I mean, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, you know me, I'm not a big Randy Orton fan, but I don't dislike the things they do with this character. Yeah. So Truth walks away from Ced and Ricochet, looking pretty nervous about the Randy Orton match, and Akira Tozawa shows up, and he asks Akira to show him how to be a ninja within 7 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
The 7-minute ninja workout.
And he says no.
Remember 8-minute abs or whatever it was back in the day?
Yeah, I tried that. Look how it worked out.
Yeah. I tried that shock system thing too. That didn't work out well.
Yeah.
So Akira says no, tries to roll up Truth, and Truth gets ticked off and tells Akira like, that's it, get in the ring now.
He got him and all his ninjas with him.
Go to commercial break, come back. It's Truth and his ninja, or Akira and his ninjas, and Truth staring them down. And then, whose music hits?
Shayna Baszler.
Akira wisely hides behind the other ninjas.
Yeah. I mean, because let's go ahead and give her the BMF tag.
She can have it all day long.
The BMF tag, right there.
Yep. No, she gets it all day. She whips the ninjas' asses. Sorry, she whips the ninjas' collective asses, and Truth.
Well, Tozawa said, "I'm good." Nope.
Yeah, Tozawa booked it.
Yeah, which I don't blame him.
And then Truth basically does the same thing. He's like, "I'm out." Throws the microphone to her and leaves.
Yeah, because he ain't about to have his title taken by her.
Although, man, I will admit, though, when I saw her staring down Akira Tozawa, I never realized that I wanted to see Shayna Baszler on 205 Live, but now that's all I want.
Really?
I want to see her tear through like
the whole cruiserweight division?
Yeah. I want to see her tear through the whole cruiserweight division.
She really could.
But she says some mundane shit about women being weak and she's going to beat him up. And all I could think was, last time we saw you, Nia Jax was throwing you into a wall like a rag doll. But okay, whatever, You're tough. I think you beat me up in real life. So I mean, I'm not taking away your toughness. I'm just saying I didn't get much out of your promo, but it's good to see you back. It was good to see her back.
It's good to see her back. I mean, I'm a fan of Baszler. I am a huge fan.
But so after that, it was package on Ray and Seth. Then showed Murphy backstage with Seth, and he was concerned about the whole. Does Ray literally mean an eye for an eye? And Seth goes into his whole, everything requires a sacrifice, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And, commercial break after that, we come back and Seth's in the ring. Going over, he's almost having a breakdown trying to fathom how it's gotten to this point. It was actually kind of good. He's like, an eye for an eye, an eye for an eye.
And, we see an intense Rey Mysterio.
But this was kind of a good night. It felt good seeing, Seth kind of getting a little bit of his comeuppance. But since he got his comeuppance tonight, he's at the go home show. He's probably going to win Sunday. But
I mean, I feel like the story would be a waste if Dominic don't turn on Ray at Extreme Rules.
That would be a good way to go about it. Or, Dom causes the win. But something to lead Dom into it. Because I know Ray's contract is almost up. And maybe Ray and Dominic
will talking about retiring.
Yeah. Maybe Ray and Dominic will both go somewhere else. Or maybe they'll be done. Or who knows. But I can see them letting Ray lose. Obviously, honestly, I don't really see this match ending in anything but a free-for-all because no one's getting their damn eye ripped out.
No.
And that's one of the most annoying things about this. It's one of the most annoying thing about this because a lot of this night and this whole segment, because it was Seth talking a lot about the match, and then KO comes out and interrupts him and brings out a knife because KO is just great at just digging that knife in. He's a master at
of course,
talking
I'm
shit.
a fan of him.
We'll get into him later, but he brings up the eye patch and throws it to him. But the thing is, they're playing up this match that we know they can't pay off.
No.
Like, there's no way in the seven hells, unless of course Ray's going to retire and they're going to do a movie style thing and they're going to use like the makeup effects to actually, have the eye ripped out like it's a horror movie with Kane in it. And then, it doesn't matter that they got to sell that forever because Ray's retiring. So what does it matter? But like, that's the only way you can pay this off is you did a movie style thing and then Ray's gone. Because if Ray stays around or Seth stays around and one of them is supposed to lose an eye and you actually go through with it, then they got to sell that thing for the rest of their lives.
Yes. So KO, being KO as usual, and he calls out Seth on this he calls him a scumbag for pushing Ray into this.
KO with his promos, he's really great at mixing, like making things very real.
Yeah, of course.
And cutting to the quick, and he's like, "You're such a scumbag for pushing Rey Mysterio, a very nice, respectable, loving man, far enough to want to gouge your eyes out. Like you've pushed a good man far.
That means you pushed it too far."
But
KO, Seth, he gets pissed, of course, because KO is trolling him now. Bought him an eye patch.
It was a good bit.
It was. And then that leads to a match between Alistair and Murphy.
Yeah, he called Murphy out
to beat up KO, but
Alistair came out to make the save, but I think they had a match already supposed to happen. So we go to commercial and come back, and we're having the Alistair and Murphy match,
which always a good match.
Now, what I like about their storyline that they tell with those two, and again, it's not an overt storyline, but like Alistair obviously has Murphy's number. Alistair's a better wrestler, he's a better fighter, he's a more dangerous person, and honestly, he should be a future champion.
Yep.
Again, the whole he's a Satanist in real life thing is rather off-putting to me, but I love the way he moves in the ring. I love the way he works in the ring.
Oh, the guy can kill a match. He can do it.
I like the story they tell with these two subtly in that each time that they fight, even though Alistair has Murphy's number, Murphy seems to be learning a little bit more. Like in this match, he was trying out a new strategy in that he was working over Alistair's legs the whole time. And we know Alistair Black's most dangerous weapon is his legs, is that Muay Thai kind of background. He's Muay Thai background, right?
Yeah.
So it was it didn't really work out for him necessarily, but it was cool to see him try a new strategy. Like, I'm not going to get black masked if he can't black mask anybody, if he can't stand on that leg. And also on top of that, again, this is just what great wrestlers they are. Like, it seems like if anyone takes any sort of damage in the WWE, they sell it like it's a head injury and they act dazed or whatever. But like Alistair smart enough, it's like, oh, my legs are damaged, but I still have wherewithal to move around because I'm not dazed. He sold a leg injury like a leg injury, not just like a general injury. It's like every wrestler thinks real life is WWE 2K, where, no matter where the injury happens, they just sell it like it's a general injury.
Yeah.
So I like they're just so good in the ring together, they play it so well.
That's going to be a future rivalry. It is a rivalry, but a future
big
rivalry.
That's what I'm saying. Event. I hope it's one where they keep going away and coming back to each other over the years, kind of the way they do, Sammy and KO.
Yeah.
I hope that becomes the thing, Alistair and Murphy throughout the years.
And one day that's going to be a main event, man.
20 years from now, when they're old as shit and they're broken down, we had that one last match. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I wouldn't even give it 20 years. I'll just give it, 5 years?
So they're broken down and beaten up? That's terrible.
Have you seen, no, not till they're broken down and beaten up, but that whole
No, I'm just saying, I want to last their whole careers.
Yeah.
I want to last their whole careers.
Like Triple H and The Rock.
Eventually, though, despite Seth trying to get involved and things like that, Alistair hits the black mass and goes for the pin, and probably has it, of course. But Seth gets involved, breaks it up, causes the DQ, and he tries to scramble out of there with Murphy before they can get any repercussions. But Ray and Dom come out, so now I don't know what happens to. They go to commercial, and I'm not sure what happens to where Murphy goes, but it's Seth versus KO, and Seth is surrounded by, Dom, Ray, and Alistair at ringside. And where the hell did Murphy go?
I don't know. He got beat, so he stayed in the back, I guess.
And what was the other guy that was in his Acolyte group who disappeared? I keep forgetting his name.
Austin Theory.
And what was the tag team he had at the beginning? AOP or whatever?
Yeah, whatever happened to those guys?
Was that it? What were they called?
Yeah, Akam and Razor. Arthur's of Pain.
Yeah, Toka and Razor are the two mutants from Ninja Turtles 2. Right. All right, so Seth versus KO. Seth was basically, a cornered animal this entire time with all his enemies on the outside.
He had no advantage whatsoever.
And it was great. KO was just talking shit the whole time, and he's just absolutely beautiful at that. Like, he kicks he kicks Seth in the leg, and Seth is selling it, and KO's like, "Oh no, what happened?" Like,
I love it.
I love wrestling. Like, wrestling without an audience is weird, except for when it's KO, because I can hear KO talking shit, and it's great. From now on, if the audiences come back, that's fine, but we should get like one of those like silence signs they do for golf whenever it's a KO match, so I can hear him talking shit, because the man is fucking money.
But it's wrestling, so anything when they say silence, it's gonna play to the crowd. Like the Miz, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Great line. I sent my campers when I was a camp counselor, and they got just as angry as I do when Miz says it.
And they get louder and louder.
So yeah, during the match, there was a great spot where Seth tosses KO out, but Alistair and Dom both get in between Seth and KO, so KO can't do anything. And Seth's yelling at him to get out of the way, and KO just yells, "Surprise!" and just decks him out of
KO is very entertaining.
He's great. And, I thought they were going to let Seth have the win tonight because he's going to have to look strong for Sunday. But he ended up getting the loss this evening, which I'm okay with that, man. Yeah. I do love me some KO. And it was good to see that they let KO, keep looking strong.
Yeah, of course.
But unfortunately, it probably means that Ray's probably going to eat the pin this Sunday.
Yeah, somehow.
But stunner for the win from KO. Pretty good. Pretty good match. This was, more storyline than it was match, but it was still great. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was probably my favorite segment of the night, honestly. After this, we cut backstage, and Ric Flair's backstage, and Big Show walks up to them. And this made this angle 100 times more interesting to me. I take it back. This might be I take back what I just said. I'm an asshole. This might be the most interesting point of the night. Show goes up and talks to Rick, and Rick does a great promo where he builds Show up and talks about how much he loves him, but he tells Show, you're in a fight you can't win because Randy Orton is in that dangerous place, and you just need to. You're a Hollywood guy now. There's a reason why Batista and Rock and those guys don't come back and do this stuff. You need to go home.
Yeah, he tried to pump his head up like you ain't got nothing to prove here.
He might have convinced me. I might have gone home. Of course, I'm a coward, so there's that, though.
But the thing is, Big Show knows him well enough. He knows he's playing that game with him.
That's what he said. Show calls him out on it. And Show actually retorts back with something that makes Flair think. He asks Flair, he's like, Randy's about to... He did this to two of our friends. He punted two of our friends. He's about to go out there and face R-Truth tonight.
Who is another one of your friends.
Who's not even in Randy's class. Let's face it. As far as the way they've built these two up, R-Truth is not in Randy Orton's class. He's not. There's no reason for him to be a credible threat at all to Randy Orton. So we know what's going to happen tonight. It's going to be R-Truth's destruction at Randy Orton's hands to the extent that Randy Orton wants. He's totally at Orton's mercy. Let's face it.
Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't for the title.
I would have loved for it to be for the 24-hour title and for Randy Orton to get it because it probably would have given that title
some more prestige.
Any prestige. It's nothing but a prop right now. If you want it to mean a damn thing, let someone who it matters hold it for a little while and let them actually hold it as a belt. Other than R-Truth,
of course.
I like R-Truth, but what was R-Truth been? He's been a pin eater and a comic relief. He's not a credible threat anytime. He's not. His matches to Tozawa are all right, but Tozawa's as big of a threat as he is because Tozawa's a pin eater for 205 Live.
Yeah.
They're good hands, but they're jobbers.
Well, I'll say this about Truth. He has the prestigious background to follow him up.
He does, but it's beyond his time now. It's like Kane. You bring back Kane now. Yeah, Kane's scary and fun to look at, but Kane's going to eat the pin. Eventually, Show tells Rick, he's like, you're going to be tonight. Randy's facing Truth, another one of our friends, and he's punted Edge, and he's punted Christian, two of our friends, and he asked Rick point blank, how many of your friends are you willing to sacrifice so your protege can be the legend killer? And I think for the first time, it kind of hits the point of Rick.
Yeah, it hits Rick. And it made Rick think.
Yeah. Well, Rick comes out beforehand and tells Truth. He's like, hey, man, since Randy Orton respects you so much, he's not going to punch your head off. He's just going to
give you an RKO.
How about that? And when he said, how about that, and winked at him, I was like, that was fucking terrifying. That was a sweet old man, and he just said something that was absolutely fucking terrifying because it's going to happen. That's like an old man coming like, hey, I'm going to shoot you in the face. How about that? And you're tied up. There's nothing to do about it. He's going to shoot you in the face.
You know what? I like you so much. I'll kill you first so you don't have to watch the rest of your family die.
Yeah. Horrifying.
Like, what?
Ric Flair could still deliver some. Like, that was scary. That line was honestly scary.
I mean, Ric Flair, he still delivers, man.
The man's a master. So after Flair delivers his terrifying line, Randy comes walking out, and the match isn't much of anything. Truth tries a little deception, says he's going to talk to Flair.
He's going to talk to Flair.
He goes to walk over to him, and Randy tries to jump him.
He baited Randy.
Yep. But it amounted to a couple of punches before Randy pushes him away and hits the RKO for the win. Truth didn't even get his jacket and belt off. But we all knew this was going to happen. But the real story was afterwards. Rick gets in. He's like, all right, Randy, you made your point.
You made your point. Let's do this. Let's go. No.
He pushes Flair away and sets up for the punt. And Show comes out. And
of course, for the save.
And, Randy's like, I'm going to kick Truth's head off if you get a step closer. And then challenges Show to an unsanctioned match next Monday, which I was like, I thought they were fighting at Extreme Rules, but okay, whatever. Next Monday, we'll get this payoff.
We'll get this payoff, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, he's pulled the unsanctioned thing before, so we'll see what other trick he's got up his sleeve. Hopefully Show doesn't come in like a big fucking... Hopefully Show doesn't come in like an idiot and just, walk into a trap or something. So I like like Drew, he's playing a smart face.
But he's also showing, like, Randy got into his head. Flair didn't, but Randy did.
Well, he's pissed, and I hope he gets at least a little bit of retribution before he eats that pin. He's going to inevitably eat because he's going to eat a pin. But, all right, so after that, we got Ricochet versus Bobby Lashley, which, again, weight class is a thing for a reason. We all knew how this was going to go. Ricochet needs his ass I
still love that full Nelson.
I do too.
I love that full Nelson, man.
They let Rick get a little bit in, but like a few, months ago, Ricochet was able to fight Bobby Lashley and beat him for a chance to, the title. But now that they're pushing Lashley as the monster, now.
Which that should have been happening, honestly.
It should have been happening the whole time. And this is what it would really happen if, Bobby Lashley and Ricochet got into a real fight because Bobby Lashley is a giant, scary person.
With MMA experience.
So it's not that. It's just Ricochet needs to be somewhere else with his talents being utilized properly because it sucks to see him just out there to eat a pin, an impressive pin all the time, So main event time. We've got the women's tag team championship match.
Oh, yeah.
Kabuki Warriors versus
Bailey and Banks.
And they're
calling
the
Boston Hug Connection. Whatever.
No, they're calling the Golden Role Models.
The Golden Role Model? I don't know.
Whatever. BS, as I like to call them, for Bailey and Sasha.
A good one.
Thank you. All right, so BS start, and they work over Asuka for a little while, and eventually she gets a hot tag to Kairi Sane, who does some, beats up BS at the same time.
Yeah.
Gets the double spear on him.
Crowd gets hyped.
Well, what crowd there is, yeah. Kairi Sane's just absolutely great.
She is awesome, man.
But what's funny to me during this match, the one thing I noticed was like whenever they would do like their little they're like, oh, it's a hip attack, like bullshit. It's a butt attack. It's a butt attack. It's a butt attack. It's not a hip attack. But they get some back and forth, and after eventually, BS worked over Kairi for a little bit, and then she gets the hot tag to Asuka, and Asuka beats up on BS for a while. It was the exact same thing. It was like the same thing in two sections of the matches. Basically, BS are on top for most of the match. They work over Asuka, gets the hot tag to Kairi. Kairi works them over for a little while. Then eventually they get back on top, and they work her over until she gets the hot tag to Asuka, who works them over. I mean, it's just
it was a back and forth, man. Back and forth.
But it was more BS on top, and then working over one of the Kabuki Warriors until they got a hope spot, and their hope spots would last for like a couple of 30 seconds until BS got back on top of it.
Yeah,
but. It definitely made Bailey and Sasha look a lot stronger. Than
It did.
Though Kairi did look great in this match.
Oh yeah, she did. And and you know what I was happy about on this match? It didn't end in a roll up.
It did not. It ended when Kairi was getting her chops in on Sasha, and it was actually kind of cool because Sasha was on the ground. She was going for one of those off the ropes, like sliding like clotheslines, and Sasha catches it and kind of spins her, into a bank statement. And
that I like.
It was a cool counter.
The Manatees got one right.
And the Manatees, well, at least for a good finish. I don't know if I would have picked them for the winner, though. I think I would have. Well, I guess if you're giving Banks the title this Sunday, and then you have them implode later and lose the belts, and then they eventually go at each other's throats, title versus title, which I wouldn't mind. I will have an opinion about the end of this match after I see where they go with it.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But I'll say this, the main event did end hot, so I like that.
Fair enough. All right. Overall, it was a fair to middling. It was a decent go-home show.
Yeah, it was.
Stories were still interesting. They kept them going. They kept me interested. Wasn't really bored through most of it, so wasn't bad. So hopefully we'll see how SmackDown goes.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you this Saturday after we do SmackDown.